Happy Monday and welcome to Love at Lunch. Woo! What an exciting day to be alive. And today we're talking all things anger. And it just so happens to be that I'm a little ticked off right now. So let's see how we can heat things up at Love at Lunch. My name is Leona Devin. I am a coach and facilitator from Calgary, Canada, and I recently finished writing a book which is going to be launched July 5th called Finding Your Joy Spot. And if we can't move through the emotions that we find tough, we don't have the same capacity for joy. And we want all the joy we can get. So let's talk about getting heated up and being angry. Number one, we need to realize that anger is a secondary emotion. It is always covering up another emotion. The great thing and the awesome gift of anger is that it calls us into action. Whereas some of those other emotions, we can feel so lethargic and they don't come out with a lot of energy. And so the gift, if we're to turn things positive, of anger is that it calls us to action. Before we get called into action, we want to think, am I having a response or a reaction to the anger? So this is what we're going to pull apart today. So first things first, we want to name it, to tame it. So we're feeling angry, ticked off, whatever have you. Great. We're gonna name that. And that gets our emotions from banging around in the back of our brains where we're very reactive, and it brings us to the front of our brains where we can be more strategic. So number one, we named it. I feel ticked off, pissed off. I feel angry. Then a little curiosity is going to serve you up well, thinking what emotion is underneath. Maybe it's disappointment, maybe it's fear, maybe it's sadness. And that's going to then allow you to go even deeper. And maybe there's something already there that you think I need to acknowledge, I need to talk through, I need to ask for what I need. Those are all important pieces. Some other things you want to understand about anger is it's a real triggering emotion. And so I always ask myself and invite my clients to do the same. Is this a trigger or is this the truth? Has something been violated here that I need to carry forward and have a conversation about or do something about? Okay, let me just pull it apart. And we want to understand what the trigger is and what the truth is of what we need after that. So some things that trigger anger are a value violation. So we need to know our values. If you're like, I don't know a value, have you seen my values? Then find out what ticks you off, characteristics of people, actions that people take, inaction that people take, and those are probably a value violation, and they can make us run hot. Values are located in a part of our brain, the same as the safety and danger part of our brain. So when a value is violated, we see red. Sometimes people don't share our values. So somebody's late for something, doesn't mean we can't ask for what we need, but you might say, hey, you know what? It really ticked me off when you showed up late because it's a value of mine. It feels disrespectful when you show up late. Somebody else may not share that value. Still worth communicating it, but values are one of those things that can really tick us off. So if you're getting ticked off a lot, and particularly in a relationship or a work environment, then check, is it a value violation? Maybe they don't share that value. If you continue to ask for what you want to be in line with your values and be in integrity, and they don't honor that, it's time to look at putting up some big boundaries. And that might mean you need to move on from that relationship. Am I blaming someone else for something or feeling judgy? I am flinging my crap onto somebody. I am reading from a chapter of my own book here. Isn't that delicious? Chapter 48, no doubt. And so if you are already discharging your own pain, you're ticked off about something somewhere else, and this is easier to get ticked off, way easier to get ticked off the customer service person than tell my partner that something that's making me feel angry. We are offloading hurt, Brene Brown talks about. Just do a little check-in. Am I okay? Or am I offloading hurt onto somebody else? Is there a misunderstanding? We want to approach situations with compassionate curiosity. Hey, this happened. Could you walk me through? Tell me more about that. So again, we don't assume that we know all the facts just because we're ticked off about it. So we approach it with curiosity. So ask, can you tell me more? Help me understand this. Be compassionate to yourself and others. Are you mad at yourself? Maybe something hasn't gone well. and this is an opportunity to learn and adjust your sails and be kind to yourself in the process. And maybe you're just pissed off, period. Perhaps this is where self-care comes in. Last week I had super bad insomnia and my pain was like amped up. I was literally spending my days trying to crawl away from my body. This is not an easy time for me and those that I live with. So it's really important to make sure that we are giving ourselves what we need so we can come from a foundation of integrity. If we are tired, hungry, in pain, not feeling well, we may discharge that onto other people again from a different place. So making sure that we're taking care of ourselves. And like I talked about in the beginning, is the anger hiding a secondary emotion? Anger is always an icing emotion, always. So there's an emotion underneath. And when we name an emotion, we tame the emotion. So by saying, hey, I'm feeling really angry, and then because anger is an icing emotion, there's always something underneath, we want to continue to be curious and think, what's going on here? So, anger. Anger is a good emotion. Anger calls us to action. Anger is always a secondary emotion. Get curious as to what's underneath and wait till you're not in the reactive place so that you vetted some of those options. You have a deeper understanding of yourself so that you can respond with integrity, which means we don't have to respond perfectly, but we do want to realize what our goal is in order to maintain relationships, maintain living into our values. That's where the joy is. So even if you're super heated up, if you can take that time to filter through some of these processes so that you can respond the way that you would want to be responded to if somebody else was angry with you, you make the world a better place and you help to create joy. I promise you, when you step into integrity and you respond to something rather than have a knee-jerk reaction, you will feel more joy. So if you want more joy, July 5th, the book Finding Your Joy Spot comes out, because joy comes in unexpected places. And when we are available and noticing, we can find more spots of joy, which keep us anchored, keep us true, and bless us and keep us happy. So there you go. Happy Love at Lunch. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'll put the link to my book in the link below if you have not yet signed up. And if you don't want to sign up and you have some mother who would stand in the gap for my mother and like to sign up, then that would be great. Then you'll be part of the pre-release and you'll find out when it is coming out, and you will be able to purchase the Kindle or the actual soft cover on July 5th. Thank you for being part of my Joy Spots today. Lots of love.